All right, we're going to continue on with our series on the AX8. And in the last video, I showed you how to add some elements to our preset. And we had an amp and a cab and a reverb. Okay, now we're going to use our D encoder, and we're going to go back a few blocks here. And I'm actually going to bring in a drive pedal, because usually a drive comes before your amp. So remember, if it's blinking, we're just going to press enter, and there's our drive. Right now, the block has a little dotted line around it, which means it's not actually on. So we can use our effects bypass option to turn it on. So shift, effects bypass. Now you can see it's a solid black box. And remember, to edit this block, we want to press edit and not press enter or exit. Otherwise, we're going to mess up our routing and have to redo a bunch of stuff. So make sure you press edit. And the drive block has so many options here, it's kind of ridiculous. So let's go through the different types. We have the rat distortion, which is like a Proco rat. We have a pi fuzz, which is your EHX fuzz pedal. Tube drive, super overdrive, which is your boss. A treble booster, mid boost, Scream 808 type stuff. We have a fat rat, which is maybe a modded rat. T808 mod. Octave distortion, which is cool. Plus distortion, which is the MXR, I think. A hard fuzz, a FET boost, tape distortion, a full OD, which is your full tone OCD pedal, which is one of my personal favorites. A blues OD, which is probably your boss blues driver, or it could be a Marshall blues breaker. I'm not quite sure. You have to look at the manual. There's also a wiki document online that you can look at for all these descriptions. Shred distortion, which I'm sure is like a high gain. A metal zone. Let's check this out. Yeah, that's going to take some adjusting there. A bender fuzz, which is great. A BB preamp from Exotic Effects. Master fuzz. A face fuzz, which is your your fuzz face, obviously. Bit crusher. Eternal love pedal. Esoteric ACB, which is another exotic pedal. I think it's like the white boost or something. A Zen Master, a Tube Drive 4 knob. Whenever it says FAS, that means it's an original Fractal Audio Systems effect, whether that be a drive or an amp or a delay or something. We got SSD preamp, Ruckus, Micro Boost, which is a great pedal in real life. It's very, very simple. FAS Boost, a Timothy, which is your Timmy pedal from Paul Cochran. Shimmer drive, Black Glass 7K, which is more of a bass overdrive pedal. And that is it. So now we're on the TS808, and this is what this sounds like. Okay, the classic setup for a TS808 is the drive all the way down. And the little icons underneath here means you can assign those to a controller, which I'll show you in a separate video coming very soon. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on those type of videos. We can also push the level up a little bit. And we have the mix, which is really cool because you can dial in your clean sound. And that also makes it a parallel effect when you adjust the mix like that. So we're going to page over. We can see we have the clip type, which is getting really deep into the weeds of changing different diodes and germanium and silicon and different stuff like that. So you can have fun experimenting with that. We can have a high cut, low cut, bass, mid, and treble. So you can further sculpt the sound. And we can also reduce the bit rate, which is going to make it more fuzzy sounding. the sample rate, and the bypass mode. And I'll show you what the bypass mode does when we talk about delays and reverbs in another video, okay? And that's all the parameters that you will see whenever you add in a drive pedal. So now I'm going to press exit, and I'm going to now hit shift and the page button to go back one page. And we are now on our foot switch page. So I'm going to use my A encoder, and we can see we have amp, cab, and drive, and I'm going to press enter. If I press enter again, this is move mode, so you can use the navigate and press enter to move your drive wherever you want. But I'm just going to leave it where we have it right now. If I press exit, that will clear out the selection for that block. So just remember not to do that. It probably took me a little while to get used to not doing that. Just, until I read the manual, I was kind of hard to figure out how to use this thing. But once you get some basic conventions under your belt, it's really not too hard. All right, so now we can turn on and off our drive, which is great. So now it's off. And it's on. Now we're going to go back to layout, and we're going to add in one more drive. So we're going to use the D encoder and use our A encoder now to go to our drive 2. Press enter. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our first overdrive block, and I'm going to don't press enter, but press edit. And we're going to go to our full OD, which I really, really like. And I'm going to bring the drive down. Not really mess with any other parameters, but it is cool to mess with the EQ page here. And you can see if I adjust my low cut, that brings in a lot of bass, and I can bring it back up pretty high. And that takes out a lot of bass the higher you have that low cut. So there's just a slew of ways to modify your favorite pedals. So here's the high cut, and I can bring that up pretty high to make it more trebly, or I can bring it lower than 800, which is the stock, to make it a little bit darker. So bring it back to around the 800 mark there. So even though you have tone, which you can easily bring that up, and you can also bring it down. That EQ page just takes you to that next level of adjustment. And now we're going to go back and hit exit and shift left page over. And now I'm going to hit the foot switch I want. And you can see it now is highlighted. And I can use my A encoder and go to drive 2, press enter. So this gives me essentially a great little clean sound with my Fender Deluxe Reverb. Maybe adjust my mids there back. Turn on my OCD. And then turn on my Tube Screamer to stack on top of that. So that is how you add overdrives and assign those drives to the switches. So thanks guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe down below and click the bell so you'll be notified the next time I release videos in this Fractal AX8 series. And thank you so much for watching. I am Dr. Mcfarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.